Bet. I am Wonder Woman. I'm Anita Marks. This is my little ladybug, and her name is Cookie, and she's absolutely miserable right now. So this isn't going to last very long. We've got a great show lined up for you. A little Monday Night Football, obviously a little World Series. We'll talk some college football. We've got Erin Dolan joining us in a second, Joe Fortenball, Tim Bontemps. Let's bring Erin in right now. Let's see what Erin's wearing today for Halloween. Erin, what do you have on?
Just a nice $100 bill. And Anita, your costume obviously is winning, especially with the dog. I mean, how cute. Wish I had one. Would have dressed him up as maybe like a dime or some other type of form of payment. But yeah, happy Halloween.
Yeah, she's miserable. So full disclosure, I'm going to show you a picture of what I was supposed to have today. Just a little known fact about me, Erin. One of my bucket lists is to visit a... I love floss. So I went on Amazon and I ordered this. This was supposed to be my costume for today. Unfortunately, did not show up on time. So this was like a fast, like
I would not be able to take you serious, Anita, in that. It was already bad enough on Daily Wager with Joe. I couldn't take him serious.
Would you ever take me seriously anyway, Erin? But yes, that is what I was supposed to wear, but here I am as Wonder Woman. Let's feed the people, as always. You and I like to start off our Monday nights with reaction or no action. And let's start at the World Series. The Phillies and the Astros are all tied up at 1, and now we've got Game 3 tonight. Do the Phillies lead after the 3rd inning? And you could wager this at around even money. Reaction or no action?
I'm going to go reaction on this one because this does feel like it's a game in which it can go either way. Now, a lot of people are going to argue who's on the mound for the Astros is much better than the Phillies and that the Astros should be able to clinch this game. But there is one huge advantage, and that is Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies are so good. 5-0 this postseason at home, outscoring opponents 35-15. They've had 12 homers in the 5 postseason games that they've played inside Citizens Bank Park. So with that place rocking, there's no way I could say no action on this one because as we've seen in the first couple of innings of games too, a ton of runs been put on the board. So I'm gonna have to go with the Phils in this one and take it with an action. Or reaction, sorry.
Yeah, reaction. We're lockstep, babe. I'm with you right there, right? Like both these teams have batters in their lineup that are batting above 330 against right-handed pitchers, and that's what we're going to see tonight on both bumps. Last outing from McCullers against the Yankees. Not that he got shelled. I don't want to be that drastic. I don't want to be a drama queen, but he was hit, and the Yankees were able to put up some runs. And I'm looking at a lot of home runs tonight. I've got a lot of course, no surprise here with me. I've got a lot of prop bets in this game tonight, not just the Monday Night Football one. So I've got a lot of action happening tonight. So I'm with you. Reaction. I think a lot of points are going to be scored here. Let's go to the hardwood, same city, and that's the 76ers. Now, will they go under 47.5 wins? I know you have a lot of love for those sports teams in Philadelphia. You know what a tough start it's been for them for the season. You could bet the under now, again, around even money. Reaction or no action?
I'm going to go no action on this one. And yes, I know they've started off 3-4. I know I'm not being biased in this one. I just feel like that's really come down from, I believe it was like 52.5. They would get over that to all the way down to 47.5. If anything, I feel like you'd have to take the over on this. Look, there's always, the first couple of weeks can be a little bit shaky. Things need to turn around because every player right now is healthy, and that's something that really concerns me because the Sixers should not be losing, especially if they're healthy. Now, I think there's a few question marks surrounding Doc Rivers and the way he's been coaching the past couple of seasons as well as of recently. So one player I do want to highlight that's been absolutely incredible is Tyrese Maxey. The man is going off. Joel Embiid, I need to see him step up a little bit more. James Harden's been putting up a ton of buckets. It's just not something I'm looking to back right now in terms of the under on the win total, just because we've only had 8 games under our belt. So no action for me on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I picked the Phillies to win it all this season, so I'm hoping that they do turn it around. Granted, they're 3-4. They've won their last 2, and I'm with you. I think there's something wrong here in regards to Doc Rivers, maybe his message not getting into that locker room. I just feel like whenever I do watch the 76ers play, a little lethargic, not coming in with that edge, but they've got the talent. Also expecting their bench to perform a lot better. So I don't know, maybe we'll see some changes on the horizon for the 76ers team, whether they're going to improve their bench or whether they go away from Doc Rivers. I don't know. Maybe D'Antoni comes in and becomes the head coach there. So I'm with you. I think they're just too good to just write them off for the season. So no action there for me. Let's talk about the Monday Night Football game right now, and that's T. Higgins scoring the first touchdown at plus 550. Some good odds considering no Jamar Chase. Erin, what say you?
I'm going to go no action on this one, just because, first of all, hitting a first touchdown score is hard in itself. But the one thing I wanted to mention is, yes, we don't have Jamar Chase, but that also gives the defense, the opposing defense, the opportunity to really focus in on a player like T. Higgins, a player like Tyler Boyd, because typically, if Jamar Chase is playing, that's who they're going to try to stop. So I actually think Joe Mixon's going to have a big game. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but no action in terms of T. Higgins scoring the first touchdown.
Yeah, I'm with you again. It's tempting because there is no Jamar Chase, but there are so many weapons on this team. And if I was going to lay down a wager for who's going to score the first touchdown, it would be Joe Mixon. He is, to me, the straw that stirs this drink on the offensive side of the ball for the Cincinnati Bengals. So no action there for me. Let's do a deeper dive into this Monday Night Football game. All right, so we've got Cleveland, Cincinnati. Cincinnati favored by 3. The over-under is at 45. What's your play tonight?
So I lean towards taking the points with the Browns in this one. Now, a ton of the tickets and money is flooding in on the Bengals, and I'm talking a ton, so I'm going to fade the public in this spot. The Bengals overall, and sometimes a lot of people don't like to factor in historic trends, but I thought the stat was pretty staggering. Okay, so since 1998 in primetime games on the road, the Bengals are 1-22 straight up. And we've known with the Cleveland Browns, there's been just so many games they should have gotten the win. And then the narrative around the Bengals right now is they've figured things out. Their offense is better. Their defense is better. They're suddenly going to look like the team that we saw last season. I'm not bought into that just yet. Look, they played the Falcons and they looked good against the Falcons. I don't think that's saying too much. I think this is going to be a tough, competitive game, so I'd rather take them with the points.
Yeah, so I'm playing this two ways. I'm going to buy Cincinnati down to -2.5, and you could get that for -130. So folks that are listening in, maybe you're not that savvy of a wager. That's okay. That's why we're here for you. You're laying $130 down to win a $100 buck that, of course, Aaron Dolan is wearing right now. Also, I think the play here for me is the over. I'm thinking game script tonight. I think a lot of points are going to be put up in this game. Listen, as you touched on, right, the Bengals offense, they have finally found their groove. They are passing the ball over 60% of the time. You've got Joe Burrow. He's in shotgun now. Some concern that Jamar Chase isn't there for all the yards after the catch? Yes, but like I said before, there's a lot of weapons on this team. With T. Higgins, Joe Mixon is utilized in the passing game. Hayden Hurst, don't forget Tyler Boyd. He stretches the field. So I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to come out. They're going to put some points on the board in the passing game. Cleveland's going to be without Denzel Ward in their secondary. And Cincinnati, really good against the rush. Top 10 defense against the rush. I don't think Nick Chubb's going to have a lot of success tonight. Therefore, you're going to have a Cleveland Browns team that's going to have to go to the air as well to try to keep up with what I think Cincinnati is going to be able to do. So I like the over here. I like over 45. To me, that is the best play tonight. With that being said, you know me, I've got a plethora of prop bets. But let's get to you first. What are some of the prop bets you're eyeing tonight?
I just wanted to add, Anita, I also feel like this is going to be an over game. I think we're going to see a ton of points scored in this one. But I'm going to go with Joe Mixon to have over 94.5 rushing and receiving yards. And yes, this seems like a very, very high number, especially for a player like Joe Mixon. But he actually had 110 rushing and receiving yards combined against this team last season. On top of that, a Browns defense, just overall, it's not good. It hasn't gotten better since last season. For 30th in defensive EPA, 25th against the run, 27th against the pass. We know Jamar Chase is not going to be playing this one, and I talked about T. Higgins being limited potentially, as well as Tyler Boyd. Then you got Joe Mixon, who can run the ball on the ground. He can also get it through the air. So I do like him to go over 94.5 rushing and receiving yards.
Yeah, so since we're all both on the same page, we're both expecting a lot of points. I have a certain game script and how I think this is going to play out. So, Erin, take a look at this bad boy. I mean, sit back, babe. You ready? Here we go. Let's start with the Bengals.
I'm sure it's spooky.
All right? I've got Joe Burrow over everything, right? Like yards, attempts, longest pass. 481 yards last week. Like I said, he's in shotgun over 60% of the time. Dude, let it rip. I'm with you with Joe Mixon. As I said, he's the straw that stirs the drink. Over rushing, receiving yards, receptions as well. Tyler Boyd's the one who stretches the field. So he's got 8 receptions over 20 yards. And as I said, no Denzel Ward in the secondary for Cleveland. And how about Hayden Hurst? I think he might be the big beneficiary of no Jamar Chase. As for the Browns, brace yourself, Erin. I've got an under. I know it doesn't happen often. Nick Chubb, under receptions. Cincinnati, 10th best against the run. And he's not utilizing the passing game. For whatever reason, he's just not. Kareem Hunt, under 51.5 rushing and receiving. He's on the trading block. Might be traded before tomorrow. Only 5 attempts his last game. And last but not least, Amari Cooper, over in receptions and over in receiving yards, 25% target share. And again, I'm just thinking game script here. In order for Cleveland to stay up with Cincinnati, they're going to have to pass the ball. And obviously, Amari Cooper is their best receiver, let alone weapon, to me on offense, of course, outside of Nick Chubb. It is time for pay dirt picks. And you have been crushing it. We both went with Stevenson, running back for the New England Patriots last week. We both put $10 down on him to score a touchdown. And in the return was $17.94, so we won there. You're at 134.27. I had some other plays, some other guys I was hoping to score. Of course, they didn't. So now, but I'm sitting at 92.02. So we're doing okay. We're not doing great. You're doing obviously a lot better than I am. But with that being said, who do you have scoring touchdowns tonight?
All right, we're going to go with Nick Chubb to score a touchdown just because this guy, I feel like, does all the time. He's got 8 touchdowns through 7 games. And no, he hasn't had one each and every single game. There's been ones where he's really doubled up. But on paper, this man, I mean, he's really tough in the red zone. 6 red zone touchdowns this season, which is tied 3rd most in the NFL. He's averaging 3 red zone touches per game, which is also tied 3rd most in the NFL. The Bengals have a shaky run defense against a Brown squad that has the 6th highest designed rushing rate in the league. Also, just want to mention, he has hit over his rushing yards prop in 6 of 7 games. He's at 83.5 right now. But give me Nick Chubb to score a touchdown. We're going to put $20 on it there. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones. Okay, this is kind of random. I feel like I've never talked about this name ever until this show. But he's put up some really good numbers in recent weeks. He's had yardage totals of 74, 71, 71, and 50 in October. He went over his receiving yards prop in each of the last 4 games. And I just feel like he's one of those random guys who could potentially score a touchdown. So I'm not putting $20 on it, just putting $5 on it. But at the same time, those are the 2 that I like.
And I like that because no David Njoku, tight end for the Cleveland Browns. He's not going to play. So the targets have to go somewhere. So I do like that play. I've got 3. I had more. I got yelled at. Weimer, our producer, was like, Anita, follow the rules. Okay, sometimes I don't. Joe Mixon, I'm putting $25 down that Mixon scores a touchdown. Cleveland has allowed 12 touchdowns to opposing running backs this season. Whoa! All right, he has 12 touchdowns in his last 15 games, and he gets the most carries of any running back in the NFL inside the 10 as well as inside the 5. Amari Cooper, he's got 4 touchdowns this season. Like I said, I think Cleveland's going to have to go to the passing game in order for them to try to beat the Bengals tonight. And how about Joe Burrow at plus 475? Why not? 3 straight weeks. He has tucked in that ball and has ran for a touchdown. Let's make it 4 for 475. So those are my 3 touchdown plays. Before we let you go, it is Halloween, so I have to ask you, what is the scariest bet on the board tonight? Could be football, could be anything. What's the scariest bet on the board tonight that you're telling people, whoa, stay away?
I'm going to go to the NBA. So I was looking all morning, all day, trying to find a bet to give out on television. I just could not find one. And then I was looking, I'm like, okay, the Bucks, they're 5-0 against the spread. They're also 5-0 straight up. They're absolutely dominant. And then they're going against the Pistons squad. They should easily be able to cover against the Pistons, right? But they're currently laying 13 points. This is also a very situational type spot because they're playing the Pistons in this game and then they're playing the Pistons next game. Both games are at home. It's Halloween. You think they care about this game? You think they care about playing the Detroit Pistons? No, they care about trying to spend some family time. They're probably, some of them, they're not trick-or-treating because they got to go to the game before the game. But anyways, I just feel like this is one of those weird spots in which the Pistons could potentially cover, so I'm staying away from it. But I think that is, I can't take this serious with the howling. I can't get these shows serious. But that is the spookiest one on the board for me in terms of the NBA.
I love it. Erin, enjoy your Halloween. Enjoy the Monday Night Football game. And I'll see you later on this week on Daily Wager.
All right, sounds good. Happy Halloween.
Yeah, same to you. All right, so we go from Aaron Dolan to Ron Burgundy. Hey, stay classy, San Diego. What's up? Of course, it's Joe Fortenball joining us from Las Vegas. I would pay money to see you walk through. I would see you walk through a casino in that. That's for sure. Dude, so I know you've got little ones. Did you go are you going trick or treating after this? Are you taking them trick or treating?
We have trick-or-treating tonight, but I have to organize a lot of things between now and then. This fake mustache almost killed me on Daily Wager like 40 minutes ago. People think, how is that possible? It's so cheap. My wife got such a cheap mustache, the hairs fall apart, get in my mouth, and almost strangled me on live TV. So I have to wonder, like, is she trying to kill me? Because she never cheaps out on anything for her, but when it comes to this, we go with the cheapest possible option. Incredible.
You know, there's real facial hair that you can actually glue on. So maybe next time. And if I remember correctly, just a few weeks ago, you actually had a mustache. But let's move on. Let's talk about the Monday Night Football game. You just heard Erin and I we fed the people all our picks. You do the same, sir. Who do you like tonight and why?
So if we start with the side, I'll play Cleveland here. It might go to 3.5, so I don't think you have to be in a rush right now. I'd much rather have that, but if we're going to play it right now, I will play the 3 in this matchup. A lot of this is a bet against Cincinnati. I mean, you're laying 3 on the road, Monday night primetime spot against a divisional rival without your best offensive weapon. Like, that's a tough situation. Like, I can't find myself ever interested in betting on a team given all those details. So now I look to Cleveland. You know, you're 2-5 this year, but of your 7 games, 6 of them have been decided by 3 or fewer points. They're in a lot of competitive games. So I do like the Browns to keep this one close, possibly win it. And then for a prop, I heard you talking a lot about Kareem Hunt. All of his unders. Total yards between rushing and receiving, rushing yards under, rushing attempts under if you can find it. I don't know if I'd play longest reception or receiving yards under, because one reception he could get 15 yards and blow you up there. But tomorrow's the trade deadline, and he wants out. And he's a free agent at the end of the year. And the Browns already have Nick Chubb. So why would you give him a lot of carries tonight in this game and risk injury? A lot of Kareem Hunt unders tonight for me.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. I'm with you. Let's talk some college football. A good friend of mine, folks might not know this, but Heather Dinich and I go way back to the 305 Miami.
You go way back with everybody. You go way back with everybody. I haven't met anyone who doesn't go way back with you. I go way back with you. We all do. It's amazing.
Way to date me there, Joe. Thank you. God bless Botox. But my point being was that I'm so thrilled to see Heather Dinich's career. She is just absolutely spectacular. The committee, of course, is going to come out with their top 4. And so this is who she thinks they're going to come out 1 through 4, Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, and Michigan. So like I said, listen, if there's somebody who's in the know, it's Heather Dinich. I don't know any who's got her finger on the pulse of college football better than her. But with that being said, Joseph Burgundy, what are your thoughts on this list? Would you agree, disagree? Would you move a team around? What do you think is going to come out tomorrow?
It's tough. I mean, Georgia's undefeated and they're the defending champs. It's going to take a lot to move them down. And there are some gymnastics that the committee plays here, right? Like, you've got Georgia 1, but if they lose to Tennessee, do you want to put them in a precarious situation where if they aren't 1, they have to drop further, right? Like, that's a team you probably want in the playoffs. So I can agree with 1. Tennessee deserves all the credit in the world for what they've done. If they were 1, it wouldn't surprise me. Them at 2 is no big deal to me. I don't think Ohio State should be 3. And this is coming from a guy who's very bullish on Ohio State early in the season. I bet them to win the Big Ten. I've got a lot of futures riding on Ohio State. I don't think they deserve to be at 3. I would put Michigan at 3, and then I'd start to talk about TCU. Now, you probably can't drop Ohio State out, But let's be honest, not an impressive performance against Notre Dame. And then against Penn State, they really only played one good quarter. One good quarter. I was expecting them to blow out Penn State. They didn't do a whole lot there. So TCU, I'd love to see in the top 4, but the committee's not going to be willing to give them that much credit just yet.
Yeah, you and me both. That was my best bet. If you recall on Friday, was I laid the points with Ohio State, and of course couldn't get it done in the end. But nonetheless, let's get your picks for the World Series. Again, tonight, Game 3. This is going to be a good one. Houston on the money line, -135. On the run line, +130. The Phillies on the money line, +115. On the run line, -155. How are you playing this?
Fireworks tonight. I think this might be the best game of the entire series because I think we're going to see a lot of runs. So my favorite bet is the first 5 over, which is 4 runs, but I'd also play over 8 runs for the game. Let's just go through the series for a second, shall we? Game number 1, it's Aaron Nola and Justin Verlander. We had 10 runs in the first 5 innings. Game 2, it's Valdez versus Wheeler. We have 5 runs in the first 5 innings. Tonight, it's Syndergaard and Lance McCullers Jr. McCullers isn't bad. He had like a 2.22 ERA this year, but on the road, that jumps to 3.5. So he's vulnerable there, and the bank's going to be rocking tonight, and that's a stacked Phillies lineup. Now, on the other side, it's Noah Syndergaard. Phillies went out. They gave up Mickey Moniak. A lot of key pieces sent to the Angels in order to bring back Syndergaard, who is very obvious. His fastball has been in decline, but no, we're going to make that move. And then what ends up happening? You pitch him 3 innings in the postseason. 3? You don't give up your number 1 prospect for a guy who's not going to play in the postseason. You need an ace. I don't know what they're thinking there. So I have no confidence in Syndergaard tonight. Over 4 runs in the first 5 innings, over 8 runs for the game.
I love it. I'm with you as well. I think that's the best bet out there is the over. I think the reason they're going with Syndergaard is because they've had so much rest. You can go to Syndergaard. Maybe he gets through the first, the first round of the lineup, and then go to your arrested bullpen where you can go deep.
Can we give up our number 1 prospect in order to bring in a guy who goes through the lineup 1 time? Can we do? Wow, Philadelphia. That's just Dave Dombrowski. Fantastic job there. I'm still pissed about this. I'm still pissed. They're in the World Series. I should be excited. I can't believe they gave up that much for a guy that's not even pitching, Anita. Sorry to interrupt.
So I know you're not going to believe this, but Dave Dombrowski and I, way back, his Marlins.
Way back.
Days. But I'm going to share with you. So I'm going to share with you some of the prop bets I'm playing out there as well. Yeah. You mentioned Noah Syndergaard. I'm going under strikeouts for him tonight for a good reason. Again, I think he's going to have a short leash, and he's lost 3.5 miles per hour on his fastball. So in a Houston Astros team that are the second best team in regard to not striking out. Also, I'm going to go crazy with the home runs. We're both on the same page, thinking that a lot of runs are going to be scored here. So I've got Harper hitting a home run, right? JT, what about a Schwarber bomb? I love that. Philly sports fans, they're the best. So I'm playing a lot of home runs tonight. Like we both said, a lot of runs are going to be scored in this matchup. Joe, before we let you go, I asked Erin. I'm going to give mine at the end of the show. But what's your scary bet tonight? Your scary bet that everyone needs to stay away from. Don't do it.
I mean, Syndergaard going deep into the game and having a lot of success would be quite scary because I don't see that happening. But I'll play anything unders related, except for what you're talking about with like Syndergaard under strikeouts. The under for the game. The idea of betting under 8 runs, given everything we have just laid out for this game tonight, that's what terrifies me. Like, there's a reason they bumped this up to 8. And I think you're going to see the lineups look fantastic tonight. No lead is safe. If you are live betting this game tonight and you see a team jump up by 3 runs, these are loaded lineups that are going to have an opportunity to score tonight. This could be a live bettor's dream, so keep your eyes on it. Phillies fall down by 3, sprinkle a little bit. Astros fall down by 3 or 4, sprinkle a little bit. There's going to be opportunities to score runs here.
Before I let you go, what's your favorite Ron Burgundy line? You dudes like lines from movies. I know you have one.
I can't repeat it on this show, Anita.
Okay, I'll let you go there. Thank you, Ron Burgundy. Stay classy. Okay, again, we go from Joe Fortenball to Tim Bontemps. Tim, great to see you. NBA season in action. Let's start with the 76ers. Erin and I were talking about them earlier. Listen, slow start to the season. It's been a rough one. But they're lane 4 tonight on the road against the Wizards. 216 and a half, I think, is the over-under. Who do you like here? What's your play in this matchup?
Well, first of all, with the outfits you guys all have on, this is exactly why I did not come dressed up on the show today, because I have zero chance to keep up with any of you guys in that department. But as far as the Sixers-Wizards games tonight, I would bet the Sixers, I guess. Given their start to the season, it's certainly been up and down, but had nice wins on Friday and Saturday in Toronto and in Chicago. And coming into tonight's game with the day off, with the Wizards playing on a back-to-back, you know, obviously there was a lot of talk about the way Philadelphia started the season, but really outside of a rough game against the Spurs, they've generally been all right. And this is a game they should win tonight. So I think they're going to get back to 500, have a 3-game winning streak, and cover this 4.5 tonight. So I would take the Sixers. And I know Aaron's a Philadelphia person. I know everybody's looking for things to fall out, the bottom to fall out all the time in Philly. But I do think that this team is going to right itself and get a win tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ditto. Let's talk about the Nets, a team not too far from where I am at right now. And their season as well has been a struggle. But they're favored tonight to the Pacers. You've got to lay 8.5, and it's a huge total, 235. How would you play this one?
I'm not touching the Nets with anything. You know, Ben Simmons is now out with knee soreness. We'll see what that's going to be. That was a brand new thing that just popped up on the injury report a couple minutes before I came on with you guys. And look, as we've seen from the Nets so far this season, I can't trust them to do anything, let alone cover 8.5 points. I mean, that's a big line. What I will say, though, is if you're looking at Nets bets, to me, I like the over. I also like the over tonight. And going forward, I would look at the over a lot with this Nets team. You've got a team that isn't going to play any defense and can score a lot. And look, tonight they're playing against a Pacers team. Benedict Mathurin has been one of the best rookies, if not the best rookie in the league so far. Had a huge night in Indiana's win on Saturday over the Nets. Tyrese Halliburton's a terrific player. They have Miles Turner and Buddy Hield back. So to me, if you're going to play anything off this game, I would play the over. But I didn't use it for my scary bet, which we'll get to in a bit. But the Nets are just my scary bet period right now, given how much of a dysfunctional train wreck they are.
That's an understatement. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we've got the Bucks, the only undefeated team in the NBA. They're kicking butt and taking names, that's for sure. They are laying 12.5 tonight against the Pistons at home. The over-under is 229. What say you, Tim?
I don't like to bet lines this big. We saw a team a couple hours up the road in Wisconsin last night cover a 13-point line in Buffalo, and the Bills absolutely dominated that game. I know it's different sports, but it's the same kind of thing for me. I don't like putting, betting the favorite when they're favored by that much for that reason. That said, Detroit played last night. They have absolutely nobody to do anything with Giannis. The Bucks have been on an absolute roll. If I'm going to bet anything here, I am going to bet the Bucks to win this one going away. You know, Detroit, seeing them win 2 in a row or even be competitive 2 nights in a row against this kind of competition, I don't see it. They got a really great win against the Warriors last night. I expect this one to be a Milwaukee romp tonight against the Pistons.
All right, Tim, let's complete the trifecta. We've got Aaron's, we have Joe's, a.k.a. Ron. What about you? What is your scary bet tonight, the bet that everybody needs to stay away from?
I would stay the hell away from the Clippers, sort of in the same phylum as the Nets. You know, minus 9.5 I saw earlier against Houston. I love the sound effects, by the way. I wouldn't go anywhere near the Clippers right now. They've lost 4 in a row. Kawhi Leonard not playing again today. Paul George has been under the weather. They're playing on a back-to-back. They're going up against a Houston team, which is young and can just throw in a bunch of threes. Look, I'll say this, and they'll probably win by 25 tonight, but I need to see the Clippers play some good basketball before I bet them to beat anybody, even a Houston team at home that they should beat, in a situation like the one they're in tonight.
Great stuff, Tim. Great to have you on the show. Again, NBA season in full effect, so I'm sure we'll see you quite often. Thank you so much. Enjoy the games tonight.
Absolutely.
You got it. All right, as always, we like to end the show with Before I Let You Go. And of course, I've got to give you my scary bet tonight. And it's lockstep with Joe Burgundy. Ron Burgundy, Joe Fortenball, and that is Kareem Hunt over rushing yards. Stay away. As Joe mentioned, listen, the trade deadline is right around the corner. It is on Tuesday. He wants out of Cleveland. His last 2 games, he's only averaging 5 attempts a game. He's only combined for 16 yards. Cincinnati's defense, top 10 against the rush. And as I said, game script, I think a lot of passing tonight. So stay away. Nothing over, especially no over rushing yards for Kareem Hunt. Hey, I want to thank Erin, Dolan, Joe Fortenball, Tim Bontemps, Weimer, all our producers. Happy Halloween, everybody, and enjoy all the games later on tonight.